Do you tell yourself you just need more time, more motivation, or more willpower? Today, we're talking about how to get out of survival mode and build real momentum with simple, intentional daily practices that take just 5 to 10 minutes. Grab your coffee and a pen and let's go.
Welcome to Authors Allies, the podcast where we dive into the worlds of authors, books, and the art of storytelling. Join us for in-depth interviews with celebrated authors, insightful book reviews, and practical tips on marketing your literary masterpiece. After over 20 years of publishing magazines, I, your host, Rebecca Pachorik, am so thrilled to be able to work within my dream of promoting authors and their books. Whether you're a seasoned writer or just starting your journey, we've got something for you. So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's explore the fascinating world of books together.
Hello, everyone. If you haven't been here before, I'm your host, Rebecca Pachorik, and today on Authors Allies, I am joined by my friend Stacy Baxley, a success and personal growth coach, and the creator of Intentional, a simple, powerful framework that helps busy women stop living in survival mode and start designing their days and lives with purpose. Stacy has 25 years of experience as a career development coordinator. She spent decades teaching the foundational skills that it takes to succeed with clarity, confidence, goal setting, decision making, self-awareness, and follow through. So now she's bringing those tools into real life with her 5 to 10 minute daily practices that build momentum without the burnout. And with all of the official stuff aside, I have to tell you guys, I've been working with Stacy myself in both her Rise and Thrive program that was through Telegram and right now in her January 2026 Intentional program. And it is really helping me to dig deeper using the systems I already have so that I can find that 20%. I made a goal and she is really helping me to find it. I'm really excited for you guys to learn more about what she's doing. When you're thinking about kind of the past and the progression of these programs, was there some sort of aha moment that made you go, oh, we should stop teaching this to the kids and, go teach this to the women too?
Generally, that big aha moment when I realized what I was doing daily with my students was an amazing tool for women also is when I was going through my own personal development journey after 2 failed divorces.
Wow.
And I had taken Tony Robbins' workshop. And as I was going through it, I realized I wasn't learning anything new. It was all reminders. And
Yeah.
I knew that that's what we as women need because we don't need to learn something new. We need to be able to take what we already know, and sometimes it's been put away, and apply it in a personalized way that works for us. And so that truly was the reason behind Intentional, is knowing that our choices matter. And sometimes we forget that where we are today is a direct result of our choices, whether we like where we're at or not. So if we can focus more on being intentional with our choices, our actions, and our thoughts throughout the day, we can't help but start succeeding on purpose and keep making progress forward.
I love that. Well, and I noticed in a lot of your videos, succeeding on purpose is on your shirt. And I think that's on your planner that I have here too. So I guess that's one of your big taglines. So when you talk about succeeding on purpose, and you've already mentioned like designing your day with purpose, what does that mean? Like, I mean, I can see all these fabulous things on Pinterest and Instagram and little TikTok videos, but what is designing your day on purpose look like for you?
So I think really when I think about designing my day on purpose, it really is just being intentional first thing in the morning to focus on a few core things. And
Okay.
number one is who I'm becoming and thinking about what that driving focus word is for that day. And it can change, but thinking about what my day looks like and what do I need to anchor myself throughout the day. And then really tapping into my priorities. And I like to call them my MVPs, my most valuable priorities. And I always encourage women to choose at least one and never more than 3. because that helps reduce that overwhelm or feeling like you've added more to your plate. And then the third piece that really is intentional is the reframing of our thoughts. We know that those negative thoughts tend to come in. So if I've already established that affirmation or that mantra that I know is going to redirect me to those daily intentions, that single 5-minute activity is truly going to change the trajectory of how I show up throughout the day. And so it's really about directing your thoughts and making sure that we are making choices instead of just reactive throughout our day. And it's not about being picture perfect, like the things that we see on social media, or needing the most beautiful planner. It really is about just deciding what your day is going to look like and committing to showing up who you need to be in order to achieve that.
It's a lot there. So just to, the thing that I love the most is exactly what you said somewhere in there, that this is a 5-minute like thing. This little 5-minute routine is really helpful. And I love that you said it doesn't have to be perfect. And I know that if you're just listening on audio, you won't see this, but I have the world's worst handwriting, and I will put a screenshot of this into the video version. But that is one thing that made me really happy. I'm like, you know what? Every morning I just jot my little stuff down on my card, and nobody else has seen it. It's only for me. It doesn't make any difference how awful the writing is, right? Even though, like, I can read it myself. And one of the things that I think has been hardest for me in this process has been those words of affirmation, the reframing of our thoughts. Like, it's so easy to go to the negative, even though I'm a relatively positive person. It's so easy to go to the negative. So I love, that's one of my favorite parts, actually. And I've been trying to make myself go back to the card during the day and like read it out loud. One thing that I thought was also interesting was, everyone right now, because we're talking in January, is all word of the year. What made you come up with the idea of a word of the day? I was really intrigued by that.
I feel like when we choose a word of the year, we've locked in and we've not allowed ourselves to tap into the fact that each day looks different. We go through different seasons of life. And I have a theme of the year, a focus that I am working on that guides me, but each day may need something different depending on what my schedule looks like. So some days I need to be more energetic depending on what I'm doing at work.
Okay.
Some days I need to buckle down and really be productive. And I feel like when you're choosing a focus word each day, it gives you that personalization piece. And that's what's most important. What do you need to re-anchor when you need it throughout the day?
Like, I would imagine by now, it doesn't even take you 5 minutes, does it, to do this?
I recorded myself this morning and I think it got it done in like 47 seconds.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
But I've been doing this for several years. And I also I have a bank of affirmations. I have like some top 10 that I use regularly.
I love that.
So it makes it easier.
That is a really good idea. The most important thing for me in anything like what you're doing is knowing that it's not adding one more chore to my list. Because I think as women, we're like, we don't need more motivation. We don't need willpower. We don't need one more thing on our list. We're like, my calendar is already a trash fire. Oh my gosh, right? Like, trying to help someone find that space when they already feel maxed out. That's what I love the most about what you're doing, is that no, it's just taking 2 minutes once you get it down for yourself, right? To go, okay, this is what I'm doing today. And the other thing too that I love is that you had impressed upon us at the beginning, this is not our to-do list. This is what's moving the needle forward in a goal we're working on. And that is so different from check, buy groceries, check, pick up the dry cleaning. Picking up the dry cleaning is not moving me forward in my goal in life. right? If I were to tell you, oh my gosh, no, I can't do it, I'm totally maxed out, how would you explain that to someone who really doesn't get it yet? Because I get it now, you know?
Explain it that this is a gift you're giving yourself. We all have dreams, goals, aspirations, and we have this vision of what our ideal life looks like. This small habit is the bridge from where you are to where you want to be. And thinking about especially women who work outside of the home.
Yeah.
And tack in a mother. We wear multiple roles and have multiple responsibilities. So I get that your days feel overwhelming. And for me, which is why I'm sharing it now, this was the solution to my overwhelm. Because if I'm at a minimum only focusing on one thing, if that one thing is important enough to you, you're going to find time to do it. And it really helps women focus on less, but accomplish more in the small pockets of time that you have throughout your day. And that truly is the reduction of the overwhelm. Because how often do we spend our day working for others and working on other people's agendas, and we don't make time for ourselves? This is your time first thing each day, and you can find one small pocket of 10 minutes to take a small action, and there's your success for the day. And every woman deserves that feeling.
I love that so much. And so these tiny practices work better than that whole, when you think about the beginning of the year and it feels overwhelming. New year, new me. It's like in this 1 month, you're committing yourself, like you said, with the word of the year to an entire year of something, right? Whereas you're like, well, I have no clue what tomorrow is going to bring. Let's be real. I don't even know what the weather's going to truly be, right? Is overwhelm the main reason that you think this works, is the whole cutting of the overwhelm, or do you see some other inside scoop on that?
I think ideally it is the overwhelm, but it's also breaking things down into smaller pieces. Okay. And you're narrowing your focus. And okay. You're doing things that fit into your life where you are today. And you tap into the whole new year, new you. It's so misleading because there's all this excitement around it. But society shows us that by the second week in January, it's so overwhelming, you've ditched it. And it's literally called Quitter's Day. When you focus on small habits and doable things, it is that consistency that moves you forward. And I think about it, at the beginning of the year, so many people talk about their health and fitness, and I want to exercise, and we join the gym and we do all these things. Imagine if you literally just went for a 10-minute walk every single day. That's it. You have accomplished consistency, discipline, and you're moving closer towards that feeling of healthiness versus you've joined a gym and you can't find the time in your schedule to make it happen. This is really about working with what you have and personalizing it for real life.
I love it. I love that so much. And like you said, I mean, if I try to all of a sudden go, I'm going to work out 3 times a week for an hour each time at a gym, I now have to get up, put my clothes on because I work from home. I have to make actual efforts to look like a human, to drive there, to do the thing, to drive back, and then, adjust back into whatever I was doing. That could end up being a 2-hour thing. So how many people, especially moms, right, can just take 2 hours, out of their day because I failed over and over and over trying to create something that was never going to work in the first place. And that, I think, is a huge key to what you're doing. But how do I track that? Like, I've got the little cards and I've been doing that. And so how do we track our progress over time to actually know you're moving the needle? Do you have any suggestions on that?
For me, like I have my card in front of me and I make notes on my card throughout the day.
Oh, okay. Not just at the end, kind of a
Not
thing.
just at the end. And then if it doesn't fit on the card, it doesn't go anywhere. Like I release it at that moment. So this is all I use all day long. And so
Okay.
at the end of the day, I can look at, like, I've checked off my priorities, what I've done,
Okay.
and I've made notes on why I didn't do them. And so when we think about habit tracking, I am a firm believer that you should only try to track one thing at a time.
Me too.
This is your tracker right here. We've talked about, I only do this Monday through Friday because Sundays I'm prepping for the week ahead. Saturday is my true reflection.
Love
At
it.
the end of the week on Saturday, if I only have 2 cards, there's my tracking. I only did it twice. And then when you think about the reflection piece, you don't have to overthink it. At the end of the day, if I say I did not accomplish priority number 3, I first ask myself why. Was it important enough? And if
Mm,
it's still a priority, you move it to the next day.
that's perfect.
If it wasn't a priority, then maybe you let it go. And so I think that's the piece. There's nothing else you have to track or pay attention to. It's just one thing. It fits in your car, it fits in your pocket, it can be used as a bookmark. This is all you need.
Love that. And because I work from home, I don't need to take it on the go. But I figured having this little bindery coiled guide, this is so small, like you said, even with this, it'll fit in my purse, it'll fit in my pocket. Do you have like boxes of your cards then saved? Because like you said, this is going to be really easy for me to look back over the last 6 weeks here and go, okay, well, I did this, I did this. Do you just save them forever? Because you're right, like just looking back, it's really easy to just track.
I don't save them forever. But what I did start doing just this year, because I wanted to be able to go back and celebrate those wins more,
Celebrating, that's big.
I got those plastic index card holders and I made tabs for each month.
I love it.
So now at the end of January, I can go back because then we forget things. So
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I do. I'm so bad.
maybe there's something in the first week of January that I thought was really important.
Okay.
At the end of January, maybe there's this aha moment that absolutely I need to bring that back in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's I didn't think of that. That's
And
good.
so that really is the benefit of how simple it is. But this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I think vision boards are the biggest waste of a person's time. It's an art project, and after that, it has little to no value unless you are applying and using it day in and day out. This is visualization every hour on the hour as a reminder who you're becoming, what you want to do, and redirecting your thoughts. It reflects your progress, your wins, your losses. Everything is on this single note card. You take it everywhere you go, and you have no excuse to not be moving forward.
Okay, that is a true teacher sounding statement, first of all, which I love because, hello, you are a teacher, right? But now, playing devil's advocate here, let's say I just am like, maybe I have ADHD or something and I forget and I leave my card on the counter. Let's say I keep forgetting and then eventually it becomes just like exercise. Like, what if I keep forgetting? And then I start thinking, well, I'm just not good enough for this. Like, how do you get us to keep doing it if we keep forgetting or we just purposely don't do it or we're running around and like, how do you get us to keep doing it without the burnout, even on this small task?
Well, I think you have to find what works for you.
Okay.
And I am a firm believer that that's most important. And if you are continuously forgetting, then maybe this isn't what works for you and you should try something else.
Gotcha.
I can give you reminders. I can suggest that you take a picture and put it in your phone, but it's just like a personal trainer.
Yeah.
I can only encourage you and redirect you so many times at some point, you have to decide, is this working for me? And that, to me, is also what's most important. It's about self-awareness. So I can help you dig deeper and ask you to get to the why as to why you aren't doing it. But then you have to be the one to decide what tools and resources work best for you. And that's the power also of how simple it is. I'm not asking you to buy a $37 planner. It's a pack of note cards. And so,
I think these are $1.99,
yeah,
if that. Well, I love that. And, I think it's important too that we tell people about the accountability, because you just hit on something. You know how you said you could tell us to put it in the phone, or drop it next to our purse the night before, if we kind of just to remind us, right, to do it and stuff. I like that accountability piece. I know right now we're in a Facebook group with it, and obviously things change, so who knows, right? But do you think that you will always have some sort of accountability type thing, to where if a person gets in there and says, man, I'm having a hard time remembering this, so that you can offer those like little suggestions? Do we have some sort of access to you or the group feel when we're doing this?
yes, right now it is my intention, because I want this to be my signature entry level program for someone to work with me.
Okay.
And it's about establishing a habit. So if I'm not there to offer you that accountability piece and that support, you're never going to fully have the benefit of the program. Because if you could do it on your own, you'd already be doing it. So yes, I always want that accountability and that connection to me.
That's really cool. And when you talk about the habits, that's really important, because I know, from knowing me for a while now, I've been on this huge health journey, to really get it going. And one of the biggest problems I had was getting the habit started, right? And that's half the battle for most of us, I think, is getting it started and then continuously going. And I have to shout out my friend Kristen, because I came up with every excuse under the sun not to do squats. Like, seriously. Okay, well, I've broken both my ankles. Okay, well, you can do this instead. Well, I've hurt both my knees. Well, you can do this instead. No matter what my excuse was, she had something to help fix it. And eventually I ran out of excuses. I'm like, well, shoot, I got to do this now. And so I started doing my squats to get my coffee refills. Like, I decided I was not allowed to have more coffee until I did some squats. And I mean, how many times did it take me? Seriously, it took me months just to be able to make myself do 5 squats.
But now you're like 50 something, right? Yeah.
55 a day now, but it took months just to make myself do 5 stupid squats in a day. Now, how ridiculous is that? I'm a grown woman trying to train a kid to do the right things, right? But I can't get myself to do it. And it's all about, I obviously didn't really want to do it. I mean, why would I keep coming up with all of those excuses?
And I think what you just brought up, sometimes we need to get rid of the timeline that we place on ourselves, or the expectation that I should be able to accomplish something in a certain amount of time. It's more of the willingness to stick at it. So kudos that you finally started. And if you only started with 5 and now you're at 55, that is amazing growth. And so I think that is that piece when we talk about reprogramming our thoughts.
Yeah.
You can come up with every excuse in the world. We all can. It's so easy.
It really is.
But you have to be able to constantly redirect those thoughts and tap into why doing those squats were important. And apparently you were able to tap into that. And now look at you. And the habit stacking, you paired it with something. Like, I remember I did that same challenge in starting, and she talked about brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
It's the longest 2 minutes brushing my teeth with and thinking how many squats. So it is when you can attach it to something that you already do. That's where the wins start to happen.
So you're right, the habit stacking and being able to have that access to you. And I feel like the rest of the group, some of the other ladies in there, I've never talked to them before or seen their names in my life. And I've really learned a few things just from hearing what they've said in the other group. So I think part of it too is not just you, which I mean, of course, we all know you're fabulous, but it's the momentum of the energy of the synergy, right? And I think that's really important. But then I go, okay, well, this is all great, but when I sit down sometimes to do my list, every single thing feels important and urgent. Like I have an overall, like kind of a running to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
How do you prioritize these things? Like, you know, do you have a filter that you're using? How do I decide which things go on this little list?
I think that's the benefit of doing it day by day.
Okay.
And every now and then, I will just do a brain dump of all the things that I want to do. And then I will think about what is most important today.
Okay.
And so I think we all have so many thoughts and ideas and ambitions that there's so much floating. But when
Yeah.
you can get it out of your head and on paper,
Mhm.
then it's much easier to decide today. And so thinking about, that's why sometimes you only pick one because it may take you more time. And so it's really whatever goal you're working on, which is why I encourage women to tie their priorities to one goal during our 6 weeks.
Mhm.
What is most important today? Is it that thing that's going to make you feel good? Is it that thing that's getting you closer to who you're becoming? Is it that thing that's going to give you measurable and noticeable progress? And I think that's the piece. There is only so much time in the day.
Yes.
And you have to be able to think when your day starts, what does my day look like and how much time do I have and what can I fit in that period of time? But it's also being able to understand you only eat an elephant one bite at a time.
That's
And
one of my favorite sayings.
and that was when I first became into education in Wake County. That was the one thing my county coordinator stressed. You have all these ideas, just focus on one. And that's the most important thing. Don't overdo it.
I'm so glad you said that because honestly, like when I was looking at my card from yesterday, well, I was looking at my last card and I was feeling kind of bad about myself because I only listed two things as my intentions for the day because I looked at my calendar and I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. If I list a third thing, I didn't even know if I could get the first two things done, truly. And so I did not even list it. And I have to tell you, because, you know, I was proud of myself for this. I wrote my little mantra as I am learning to prioritize my needs versus my time, because it's difficult for me to only choose a few things when everything feels important. And because I made my specific goal for our 6 weeks together here to find the 20% of the needle movers, it was really a struggle for me to choose the two things that I chose, knowing that I had to choose two things that were going to move the needle.
I think you brought up something important as well when you talked about tracking a little while ago. When you think about the activities that you put down, sometimes it's good to note how much time those took you to do.
That's a good point.
Because then, if it's something that's reoccurring or you know you're going to do it later on a regular basis, you know how much you can get done in a certain amount of time. So if that is something that I need to do every week, like mine today is content. I'm working on content today. I'll time myself and note how much content I got done in the amount of time that I had. But when I then put this later, maybe it's only, I'm going to work on 3 pieces of content today because I know I can only do it in a 10-minute window. And so I think that is where that awareness and tracking can come to, because this really helps you see what you can do with the time that you have.
Yeah, I do. I do like that. And I know that, last week you had also suggested we do a time audit as part of this. And because I had done that from Monday through Thursday, that was partially why I knew that on Friday I could not do everything, because I already knew. I knew how much time the calls were going to take, and the calls were actual needle movers. So I made those one of the things. And then I knew I was only going to have a little bit of extra time in my day to work on a needle moving project. And so I had to choose just one thing. And it's hard, when your business is your full-time job, it's hard to choose just one thing. So that's good. I'm glad that it was okay, to choose only two. Because yeah, it's really hard. And circling back to the whole concept of, us working with authors here, like most of our authors that are in Authors Allies, they have full-time jobs. We actually have teachers, we have a librarian in the group. When you have a full-time job and you're trying to write a book and you're trying to do family and life on top of that, I mean, that's like you have 2 or 3 full-time jobs at the same time. So what is something that maybe an author could do that would just be one small thing that they could, small step?
I think for an author, because you need that creative piece and that creative energy,
Yeah.
is first figuring out when during your day that energy is the highest.
Oh, that's a really good
idea. Into that.
Okay.
And then really thinking about, as an author, it's about words and ideas. Always have some place to write those words and ideas down, whether it's notes on your phone or a small composition notebook, because then when you do have those larger chunks of time, you've already started that creative process. And I think that's one of the things that we forget, where our energy is the highest. Mine is first thing in the morning. I make no bones about it. I get up at 2:45 a.m. But because I get up that early, I have a solid hour to work on my personal coaching business before I ever go to work for someone else. I've never been a night person. So I think that's important, finding that part of your day where your creativity flows the best. And maybe it's also a new environment. Do you need to go to the park? Do you need to go to the library and switch things up? But I think for authors in general, that's the best place, because you have to be able to tap into that creative energy. And if that energy is low, the flow is not going to be nearly as good.
Well, and even if they only have, 2 minutes in that time frame, you might be able to just jot a few ideas down, like you said, okay, well, maybe in that 2 minutes, I can write what I think the next scene will be, even if I don't write the next scene, that kind of a thing, to really start to hone in, on figuring that out. Well, taking that a step further, then, if someone's listening to this episode and they know that they have a ton of things they need to do, what is one baby step they could take to start figuring it out? Like, would you suggest the same thing for, general GQ mom, or is there something else that you think is a good way to get started? Like, how do I get started with finding one baby step?
I think it really is first finding that thing that is going to make the biggest impact right now. And just one thing.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And taking an action that literally you can do in 10 minutes or less. Because that creates an immediate win.
Find a win. Yes.
And perfect. Then when you build those wins, that win is exciting and it's worth celebrating. Yes. And that's where it starts. Don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it. If you're going to run your first 5K, go walk to the mailbox at a brisk pace and come back.
Love it.
And that's where you start, those small things, because those are doable and sustainable. And then you build 1%.
I love that. I love that. So where in general can people find you if they want to get more tips? Is Facebook, I know I typically see your stuff on Facebook. Is that the best place for people to find you, or are you on some of the other platforms as well?
Facebook is where that's the platform that gets my most love. I do cross post things on Instagram, but Facebook I feel like is set up to build better connections with people. So Facebook is where you can find me the quickest and easiest.
It's the best. Okay, good, good. So give us a quick overview of the programs you have right now, where to find you. And I believe you had a freebie that I was going to put up in the notes for the listeners. And for everyone listening, I'm going to put all Stacy's info in the notes too, so you don't spell her name wrong or any of that. But give us a quick rundown.
So my freebie that I've got is the note card guide, and it really just walks you through how to create your own note card and the 6 core strategies that it encompasses. And that is a great place to just even see it and try it out. Then, if you decide that it is something that you can make work for you, I suggest joining the intentional program where there really is that added accountability piece, but we do weekly exercises that really reinforce each of those 6 components. And then for the person that really feels like they've got a good system that works for them, but they just tend to get off track, or they really need some more one-on-one work with reframing their thoughts, because we know that's a big piece, then I do offer one-on-one coaching.
You do? Okay. Well, so what happens when I'm finished with intentional? Do we know, like, is there a path for me, or is the one-on-one coaching where I would go next?
No, I have created another community where it's really just going to be that Monday mindset. And so I am going to share with you one core principle that's going to guide you through the week. And it'll just be one focus per week. And then that keeps that momentum going. And it always keeps us circling back to those 6 core strategies. So that's always in the forefront of our thoughts. So this is not going to be something that you create, we spend 6 weeks together, and then you forget about it. This really builds the momentum and keeps it going.
I love that. And then that group, is that going to basically be just alumni, or could anyone join that?
No, it's going to be just alumni.
I love that. And then that way we kind of get to continue those relationships if we've built them, and we get to keep cheering each other on. So that makes it a little bit, more fun. How often are you starting a new cohort of intentional? Because like right now I'm in it, and we just started at the beginning of January, but I assume people can't join in the middle, right?
You cannot. I'll let somebody in during that first week because you're not too far behind, and that's easy to do. But other than that, it's going to run I believe March 5th is when the next one runs. And then
kind of every other month type of a thing. Yeah. Okay. That's perfect. That's perfect. So right now you're planning on doing another one, we think in March is sort of the plan at the moment. And this will come out before then. I'm hoping to get that out still, soon here. Every other month. And then we've got the freebie. Then you would jump into intentional. Then you can join the follow-up alumni group, or you can get one-on-one coaching at any time, I assume. And we should come find you on Facebook.
Absolutely.
And is your success planner still on Amazon? Because you did your planner, which I love. I think this is also a good piece that could go with the intentional and the other things that you're doing. So that could be fun. Well, that sounds great. Is there anything that we didn't cover, you think, that people really need to know about you or these programs that you're doing?
I think it really is just about my overall purpose is to make sure women have simple strategies that are personalized.
I love it. Simple is better.
Yes.
Keep it simple, sister.
Yes.
That makes it a lot easier. Well, the podcast started out as Books and Brew. And so I have to ask you, since we have discussed coffee on several occasions now, what would be in your cup at 2:45 in the morning?
That would be my pre-workout drink, Energize. It is the first thing I drink every morning, and I've probably been doing it for over a decade.
Oh my gosh. So that's a drink that you buy, or you create it yourself?
No, It's something I bought.
you ever switch to coffee? Do we go from energized to water? What
Yes,
happens?
I normally don't have my first cup of coffee during the week until I get to work.
Okay, so it's your work drink. I
Yes.
got it. Oh, you're a teacher. You have to have coffee. I think it's a rule, isn't it, that teachers drink coffee?
Well,
Is it?
surprisingly, though, more often than not, it's decaf in my cup because coffee is an emotional thing for me. It's never like the energy piece of it.
Wow. Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate you. And, definitely everyone that's listening, I encourage you to go follow Stacy on Facebook, get the freebie, check it out, because I have learned so much just in the first 2 weeks of this intentional program that I just know it's going to make the rest of my year go a lot smoother.
Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. All right, friends, that's a wrap. If Stacy's message hit home, go grab her links in the show notes and pick just one tiny practice you're going to try this week. That's how we build momentum. And if you want ongoing support and strategy for marketing your books without losing your mind, come hang with us inside the Authors Allies Roundtable. Until next time, keep your brew hot and your emotions cool. See you soon.
That's all for this episode of Authors Allies. We hope you enjoyed our exploration of the literary world. Be sure to stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll have more fascinating interviews, book reviews, and marketing tips. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Leave us a review and share us with a friend. To get your free copy of our ebook, 10 Steps to Your Ultimate Book Marketing Plan, be sure to head over to our show notes. Until next time, happy reading and writing.